up, okay? This is where it started. In the early morning, Tuesday, April 21st, I rode my bicycle down here. It was probably sometime between 2 and 3 a.m. And I had been drinking pretty heavily with my girlfriend. I was pretty drunk at the time. We had gotten into an argument, and I just sort of came down here to clear my head. I left our house on bicycle, and I came into the cemetery through this gate. I forget what street I'm on. It was really dark and it was foggy. Okay, so there's the gate behind me. I rode my bike through that gate, and let's kind of follow this path up this way. And I don't know if you can see it right now, but up ahead there's like this big, I don't know what it used to be. It's like a big church or something. As I'm walking, I'm just noticing some of like the dates on these graves. It's a pretty old cemetery. These ones are kind of faded. You can't really see. This guy was born in 1803. This dude, something 1821. And I'm pretty sure that this is like the newer part of the cemetery. I think down that way there's some really old graves. It's past this fence. You have to come in around the other side. Alright, I'm trying to wait for the wind to die down, but I hope that you can hear me alright. At this point, I zoom in. You can see there's this big old grave stone. It's like a huge grave. I'll show you in a second. But it was at this point right here where I noticed that there was a bunch of people over there. And what appeared to be like some kind of a dim lighting, like maybe it was like a fire or like some kind of torch or something. And that's not very normal. So I was kind of, keep in mind I was still drunk too. So, but I put my bike down here behind this grave, and I kind of walked up on foot from here. Okay, so I'm only a few feet down from where I dropped the bike, a few yards or whatever, and at this point, it was really dark, but I stood behind this grave here, and kind of looked around the corner like this, and I could see, I'll get a close-up on the grave in a second, but you can see there's a big grave, and inside there's like some statues and stuff, but there's like a little altar in front of it. And it was there where I saw, or what I'm claiming to have seen, it was what I thought was like 3 or 4 people standing around the altar, and there appeared to be something on the altar, a big mound, what I would have to assume would be like a body, and they were just standing there. And I heard muffled voices talking really quietly, and some kind of creepy, some kind of creepy moaning sound, muffled moaning. That sounds ridiculous saying it out loud. At that point, my bike, which is back at that grave behind there, it fell over. It made a sound, loud sound, and it appeared that the people standing over there got their attention, and then I think that I kind of freaked out a little bit, and I kind of stepped back, and maybe they saw me or something, and I kind of panicked, so I backed away, and I started running back towards my bike that way. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you get close up to it. It's kind of I don't really know what you call that. It's a big grave. It's like all one family. It's all fenced off or whatever. Just gonna hop this. It's all Belmonts. The family is the Belmonts. August Belmont. Started to back up and walk away pretty quickly to my bike, which is that gravestone there. It was knocked over, and That's when I noticed from back in this direction over here, there's roads that go all back through there. There's a road that cuts through. I noticed that a vehicle turned its engine on and started moving like pretty quickly towards me. But there were no lights. The vehicle didn't turn their lights on. And about the time that they made it down this way and got to this intersection, I realized that I thought that I was being followed. So I kind of sprinted this way, and I picked up the bike, got on it, rode down this way, because I figured if I was gonna get pursued, maybe I could get across that fence, because you can't drive from this section of the graveyard to that section over there. You have to go out and around to get that way. So I just I guess I could walk down there. There's a break in the fence somewhere along here, and I don't really know how I did it. I'm not very like the least athletic person that I know, but I hopped the fence and I made my way. I just kept going down that way, and off in the distance there, I don't know if you can see it, there's a bridge and some water. It's like a little bridge that goes over the water. I exited the graveyard out in that direction, and I kind of hid under the bridge. And eventually, I was picked up by a cop, and they determined that I was, wasted, and they put me in the drunk tank for the rest of the night. And that's how the night ended for me. I came back the next day, and my bike was still like right over there by that fence, somewhere right here. And that's what happened. I was pretty positive that night I saw 3 or 4 hooded people huddled around an altar, that altar, and that there was something laying on top of it. I came back the next day to see what I could find, and I'll show you. I brought it with me. The first thing I found was these pair of sunglasses, these aviators. I just found them like right over there. This is the following day, probably at noon or something. I found them like right there on the ground. I found this is the creepiest part. The biggest evidence that I saw was this bag. Well, it wasn't in a bag at the time, but there's shit. I don't know if you can see it. It looked like twine from rope. Kind of creepy, right? And I'm not going to put it down, it'll blow away. The last thing that I found in my pocket here, that's my house key, is this rock. I don't really know a lot about minerals and geodes or whatever. My girlfriend can probably tell me more about it, but it looks like it's maybe onyx or obsidian or something. I don't know, man. You find rope and a black rock at a crime scene, I don't know. I feel like if the cops actually did come and check out what happens, they would have definitely found that. The police tried to tell me that I didn't know what I had seen, that I was just drunk, and I guess, like I said, it's a popular spot for the homeless to like hang out at night or something. They said that they would check it out, that they would go and investigate or whatever. Obviously they didn't, because I found that the twine and the glasses and the rock, I feel like they would have taken that if they had actually gone there. They just asked me to leave. They told me that's private property, that I can't film there, of course.